night matches, fire in the air. Frag grenades, flying chaos everywhere. Dodcast with the recaps here. Who's the champ this week? It's all unclear. Gold division tighter than a noose. Every round a gamble, no room for truce. Dodcast, the spotlight shines fast. Cheese kills the kings, but the race won't last. Dodcast, legends in the broadcast. Knock out the goat, no one else can amass. Bound, crouched, and we agree. Skill achieves the referee's decree. MG nests and the rockets blast. Tactics on fire, the moments flash fast. Victory close, but who'll take the crown? Gold is a jungle, no one's backing down. Dodcast, the spotlight shines best. Kiss kills the kings, but the race won't last. Dodcast, legends in the broadcast. Knock out the goat, no one else can amass.
It's Corey, Jag, and Marco, and it's another episode of the Dodcast. Yo, what's up, everyone? It is the Corey, the Jaginator, the Marco. We're back with another episode of the Dodcast. As always, thank you to Scott Knockout Gordon and to Jane for that intro. Scott did the song, Jane did the video portion, and Season 8, Episode 6. Gotta recap Thunder, gotta predict Solitude. First things first, we got the frag of the week, of course. Oh my god, its fucking computer is just so messy. I am in Montreal right now. It's been a bit of a slow week for me when it comes to all the DoD stuff I would normally like to do because the internet's been very fucky. I've been unable to really get streams to work very much. It actually ended up being kind of a slow week anyways, demo-wise, so it's not the worst week for this to have been the case. I actually only got 2 matches to do for Thunder this week, outside of the one, well, I don't even remember what I did live now. I might not have done any live, actually. I did Dice versus Icy Hot on Anzio, and then we played at 9. So yeah, I didn't do any live, and I haven't gotten to do any on delay yet, but when I am back in Buffalo in like 12 hours or whatever, I'll be able to do the HLTV casts for the 2 games that I got. So it will be a little late, but I will still get them done. It's just unfortunate. I mean, I could have, I guess, just casted them not live, but it always, I don't know, feels weird doing it that way. I don't know, maybe I'll look into doing that if we're in the same situation again in the future. Other order of business this week for the frag of the week on Solitude, send your demos in, first of all. Second of all, though, send them into Chris. Send them into Kaboom. War is not taking it this week. Kaboom is. So we get to be a part of a sick Kaboom movie. If you get clips, I won't get clips this week, but those of you who do get clips this week will get to have Chris throw them into a frag of the week for you, which is always cool. Ryan gets the week off, which I'm sure is really nice for War. You know, he is consistently working his balls off to get these out in a timely manner, and I don't know how he does it, to be honest. I don't know how he does it. Okay. Let's take a look at the Thunder frag of the week, which again, I barely got to see anything this week, so I have no idea what anyone did or how the matches went outside of, well, I got to see part of the Emo versus GVMH match while I was at a theme park in Montreal. because a couple people were streaming it in our Discord, like the people playing in the match. And yeah, that's it. That's all I really got to see this week. So let's see what kind of clips we got. I didn't get any. That much I can tell you. Thunder! Thunder! It's such an arachnid clip. Just working that loft, hitting every shot. Colin. Nice. Raven. Double. Later. Nice. For a second, I thought he was going to bypass the car for the Garand there. That's a nice clip by Insight. No name. I know, I definitely saw Emo's POV of this clip right here. Yeah, definitely saw. I think it was Steve that was streaming it. Just kills everybody. He's just Scoob. Nicely played. Ooh. Another one. Again, nicely played. Looking like a veteran there. Oh, Bobby caught the guy trying to flank him there. Oh. Wait a minute, who was that on? Was that on Kellen? It was. If only we had a sound clip to add to the frag of the weeks. Anytime Bobby kills Kellen. I still just love that story. Easy. A nice sniper clip by Nitro. Wow, easy. Getting lit. Ooh. And a cap out. Okay. Ooh. Is that a double? No name again. I did not see the emo POV of this one. That two. Colin again. Oh my god, that's a lot, man. 5, 7. Oh, 7 kills there. 8 unanswered kills there by G-Skill. Jesus, right? Am I wrong about that? Let's see. So Chuck, Savage. Savage gets another one. Colin. That's 5, then 7, and then Colin gets one more. Yeah, 8 straight kills there. That's how you cap out on Thunder, to be fair. It's either that or you ninja cap. Nice. Good shit. Good shit. All right. Let's get down. Oh, man, I just got DM from Walter there. Let's see here. Just quickly check to make sure that this isn't something that, oh shit, didn't mean to do that. This isn't something, maybe it's like info about the lineup this week or anything, you never know. Okay. All right. All right. If Walter watches this, he's going to be like, well, what the fuck? He didn't respond to me. Yeah, we know how easily I'm going to get sidetracked by everything, so I'm waiting. Do I have before I continue on any further, by the way, do I have the right fucking output on this? Yes. Okay, I do. That's good for once. For once. Okay. So, again, Frag of the Week, submit to Kaboom. This week, thank you, War Within, as always, for another great Frag of the Week. Now let's take a look at what the fuck happened. That's the previous week, right? Yeah. All right, silver. Again, I didn't get to see any of these matches, so all I really know is what we just saw in the Frag of the Week and the scores. Will that mean that I can give up like less information overall here? I don't know. We'll find out. I'll probably end up talking just as much. So first of all, Rodeo versus Rifle Nades. We saw that sick arachnid clip from the Axis Loft there. 162 to 84, though, in favor of the Rodeo. So first half, it was the favored Allied side. I mean, generally, I think it's Allied-sided, right? It can depend. But Allied side for the Rodeo, they won by 18. Rifle Nades outfragged him by 14, though, so that's interesting. That's a pretty high amount of outfragging there and a half that they lost. Huh. For Rifle Nades, though, hey, there you go, Arachnid, 32 and 15, not even a little bit surprised. That's what Arachnid is going to do. Azilla with 28 right behind him, Fira with 25, and then Chrono with 22, Celts with 20, 15 for Henry. I mean, this is a map where generally you're going to expect that your rifles and your sniper are the ones getting the majority of the frags, so that's what I expect to see here. On the Rodeo side, of course, CK 38. 21 for Nick, 20 apiece for Snipies and for LASIK, 17 for Bo, 12 for Meep, 18 point lead at the half. And then second half, that is, the fuck does that Allied score say? It was 84, and okay, so 40. So 100 to 40, it looks like. And then on the Axis side this time, Rodeo actually did outfrag them by 22, so, I guess the Axis just getting more frags in general here. I don't know. I didn't see the game. For the Rifle Nade side, 33. Again, just a 2-1 score for Arachnid, of course. That's what you're going to get from Arachnid, man. He is as good as it gets in the game at sniping, and on a map like this, he's going to feast. No matter who he's playing. Really doesn't matter. So yeah, 33 and 15 for him, 23 for Chrono, 22 for Azilla, 20 for Firo, 19 for Henry, 13 for Celts. And then on the Rodeo side, 44 for CK, so that's 82 overall for him, as he continues to tear it up, trying to break maybe like an average half of 40 for the season. I think that would be the most doable one for him now. I don't know, the stats, the main stats that get done every season, they're not up to date. We do have PD stats. I don't think that his stats show like kills per half presently. Like, I'm sure it'd be easy enough for him to get them up there. But I would guess CK is around 40. Maybe not up to 40 yet, but he'd probably be 37, 38, somewhere in that area. 44 for Corey, 28 for Nick, 25 for Snipies, 22 for Bo, 18 for me, 15 for LASIK. And yeah, a big W for the Rodeo there. Oh my God, man. Like, just opening up Google Chrome is like fucking difficult. I don't know what's going on this week with the internet, but if you played me in DoD, which I played like, one game of DoD, well, 2 games of DoD, you probably saw how skippy I looked. I was told I looked like Milo. And my response was, well, it's for the same reason. It's the bad Canadian internet. That's why. Bad Canadian internet can be the greatest advantage. Just ask Hudson. If you play Hudson in Quake Champions, that bad Canadian internet wins out always. We saw it with Hildy for a while, too. All right. So yeah, Rodeo with the win over Rifle Nades. That is actually a pretty big game. Pretty big win for Rodeo there. Puts them to 4-1. We're about to see the no-go game here, which also put them to 4-1, so they're tied. But Rodeo is actually in first place right now, I believe, right? Yeah, they're for sure, because they also beat no-go. I'm assuming that they play each other again soon. They play each other this week. There you go. That will be basically what dictates the 1 seed come playoff time. I mean, not entirely. Certainly shit can go down, but generally speaking, if the playoffs were to end after this week, especially, but there's 3 matches left after that, certainly one of the 2 teams could go on a win streak and the other one could go on a losing streak or something. I would say that sounds like the most likely scenario, though, that whoever wins this no-go versus Rodeo game will probably end up with your 1 seed when all is said and done in bronze. Unless some crazy shit happens, of course. 3 weeks left, there's plenty of time. So, no-go versus Uncle Rico's Time Machine, 242-68 in favor of no-go. A pretty fucking sizable win there for the no-go boys against Uncle Rico's Time Machine, who has kind of been like, right there as well. I mean, I guess, so both Uncle Rico and Rifle Nades are now at 2 wins. But they both have pretty great wins. Let's see, where is it? Rifle Nades versus the Wickets hasn't been played yet, but Uncle Rico beat Rodeo. That's the 1 loss on Rodeo's record. And then Rifle Nades beat Uncle Rico, so they have the tie break there as well. And they have like 1,000-point victory on Lennon versus the Wickets, which is crazy too. Did we watch that game? Oh, wait, I was doing that backwards. Yeah, Uncle Rico had his 1,000-point win on Lennon, and then Rifle Nades beat the Ninja on Lennon. That's what it was. Okay, so anyways, 242-68 for no-go here. First half, Axis side for no-go, they win by 52. Yeah, 52. Outfrag them by 29 there. Again, Axis side with more frags. On Uncle Rico's side, you got 24 for first of all, 26 for Cadaver, 24 for ST Kevin, 20 for Nick, 20 for Zamp, 17 for G, 14 for Ian. On the no-go side, 34 for Cushy. Cushy might be looking for that bronze MVP this season right now with the way he's been playing. No Spoon this week. I was going to say he's another guy that could be a candidate for that. But 34 for Kush, 27 for Quarter on the Sniper, 26 for Bosch, and he's just going to keep getting better, man. He's only been back for a couple weeks, so this team's getting scarier. 22 for Blue Revolver, 22 for Jamie, 19 for Koi. And the second half here, Allied side for no-go, they win by 122. They outfrag by 30. So not the Axis side outfragging here. On the Uncle Rico's Time Machine side, though, 29 for Head Like a Hole on the Sniper, 24 for Ian on the Car, 21 for ST Kevin, 20 for Zamp, 17 for G, 9 for Cadaver, and then for no-go, we had 30 for Blue. The bar is actually top fragged here. 31 for Jamie, 30 for Blue, and then 25 for Cushy, 23 for Koi, 21 for Quarter, and 20 for Bosch. And again, very important win for no-go with the Rodeo winning their game as well. To be able to stay right there with them heading into their rematch this week, which will be very, very important in the grand scheme of the playoff picture for bronze. Now, on to the next one. We've got the Wickeds getting on the board here with the first W of the season. They came so close on Armory. Many would argue that they probably deserved to just win Armory with the way things were going, but came up just short. A Herculean effort by the craziest of killers coming into the second half of that game and getting his team in the W column. But the Wickeds this week, they do finish it out, 152-137 over the Ninja. It's good to see the Ninja playing. That's more important to me than anything right now, because I really just hope that they play out the rest of the season. Okay. Wait, who is Ant? Whoever Ant is, he had 31 kills there on Allied side. I have no idea who Ant is. Maybe we'll find out. I don't know. Unclear. Maybe he's a Call of Duty player. It's entirely possible. Can I... Oh, Jesus. I didn't mean to click that shit. Let me see here. No, he's just Ant. Oh, they got Raven, too. Manuke. No shit. Low carb. What the fuck? So who is Ant? I mean, I'm guessing it's got to be a Call of Duty player, right? Like, going on a little bit of a excursion here. Fanscap. Wait, he definitely did play DoD once upon a time. No shit. Huh. That's, when I saw Manuke, that was the first thing I thought of was Fanscap. And then, here they are. There you can see them in DoD Open there. Mizgif was on the team as well. Alright, well shit. The Fanscap boys are back. Let's fucking go. That's sick to see. And then this was when they were up in IM, right? Yeah. See them playing against EA there. I'm not sure who that is. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Jesus, Cops play DoD. Wow. All right, well, that answers that. So maybe they also do play Call of Duty, but regardless, the Fanscap boys back in the house here. 3 of them, at bare minimum, on the Ninja side of things. Low carb added to the mix as well. And then Raven, which is a huge thing there. Huge pickup. And it looks like Illusion is playing, too. So watch out, everybody else in bronze now, because that team might be very scary. Regardless, for this game, the Wickeds did win, again, by 15 points. Assuming this is the first half here, Allied side for the Wickeds, they win 97-44, about plus 25 on the frag totals there. For the Ninja, Illusion with 31, 18 for Ant, 17 for Steve. 18 for Ant, 17 for Steve, 14 for Sean Luke, 13 for Verb, 5 for Mizgif. And on the Wicked side, Barinya getting back in there. Good to see. 32 for him, 26 apiece for Jiraiya and for Bullet, 25 and 11 for AZ there on the bar. Great half for him. We saw the Frag of the Week clips. 13 for Jiraiya Jr., 11 for Leto. And on to the second half. This was a 48-point win for the Ninja. Such a close game there when all is said and done. Just really that extra 10 points that the Wickeds were able to get off on their Axis side being the difference. I mean, give or take, right? For the Ninja, though, Ant with the top frag, man. 31 kills. First game back in DoD in God knows how long. And already looking good. Not sure what class he was playing. We'll see. We'll find out. But really good debut game back in the mix. 25 for Steve, who I'm pretty sure would probably be sniping, right? 19 for Illusion, 16 for Sean Luke, 15 for Verb, 5 and 3 for Mizgif, and he was, for sure, this is not a disconnect, I was told. This is actually what his score was. He was full commit bunker hold guy, which I love to see. That is some 2004, 5, 6 level bunker hold strat right there. That's commitment. And hey, you know, they won the half. It worked. So on the Wicked side, though, Jiraiya, 32 and 18, another really strong half for him. Sniping, 26 for Barinya, 24 for Bullet, 21 for Jiraiya Jr., 18 for Leto, and 11 for AZ going bunker there. You know, just not that many guys to try to kill, given the strat. Most importantly, though, the Wickeds on the board. They can put it on the board. And yeah, as you can see, that jumps them ahead of the Ninja. They also have the tiebreaker on them now, obviously. And there's plenty of movement to be had here. You know, there's plenty of movement to be had on the bronze side of things. Like, either of these teams, there's 3 matches left after they play each other, and either of them they both could lose all 3. It's not super likely, but, you know, and then that leaves the ability for anyone to leapfrog them to the top seed. Regardless, we'll see what happens there. That is the end of the Bronze Division recap on Thunder. Moving on over to Silver. Yeah, this is the first one here. So game violation multi-hack versus the emo frag squad, 179 to 71 for game violation multi-hack. As you can see here, this was the one thing that I kind of noticed. They emo was doing a pretty good job on their Axis side, right? Like a 20-point loss, you feel really good about that, I think, on this map after Axis side. But it just kind of, I guess, I didn't see any of this half, so I have no idea what happened. But it looks like it just kind of fell apart for him there. You lose by 20 on the Axis side, and then you lose by like 90 on the Allied side. You're not going to be able to win. Obviously, you're not going to be able to win because that's literally a loss. Like what I just described, it's a loss. But yeah, when I got off of Discord because I was at a theme park, I was like, oh, they're in good shape. They could definitely win this thing after being down by 20 on their Axis side. So I kind of thought 50-50 chance that by the time I got home, it would be that they had won or that they had lost. And they lost. They just didn't lose in a way that I thought they would. I figured 20-point deficit after Axis side, odds would be that it ends up being pretty close. But GVMH just ran away with it in the second half here. So 62 to 42 for the first half, Allied side for GVMH. Axis again here with the more kills by 3. On the emo frag squad side, Modgers with 29 on the STG is a huge half out of the heavy there. 27 for J-Rod, I believe he was carring. And then 20 apiece for Saf, for Ian, for Steve, and 19 for Apple. And on the GVMH side, where are we here? Hooli with another top frag. I'm not sure where things, again, because the main stats where you can just kind of like see real quickly, this is the KD, this is the kills per half, blah, blah, blah. We don't have those. I think they only got done for the first like 2 weeks of games. So it's a little bit harder to look it up. I did the math, and I think right now, with the game in hand, though, Hooli is a little bit behind Darren when it comes to like KD ratio and shit. I think Hooli might have more kills per half, but a lower KD. But I think that is, again, with a game in hand, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong. I might have looked at that like a week ago, too. But another top frag for Hooli regardless. He's been fucking insane all season. He has had multiple, like, carry halves here for GVMH. This isn't one of them. Like, he's 31 and 21. It's not like he went 38 and 9 or whatever he did in that Anzio game. But still another really, really good game here for Hooli, which I love to see. Followed up behind him was Raleigh with 29 on the Garand, 26 for No Name on the Garand, 19 for Aki on the bar, 14 for Pijisku, 13 for Sango, and again a 20-point lead at the half. And then Axis side, they just ran away with it. They win the half by 88? Yeah, 88. And they outfragged Emo by, 37. That's crazy frag power by GVMH there. For the Emo side, J-Rod at 35, 24 for Ian, 23 for Matt, 17 for Saf, 16 for Apple, 11 for Steve, and then for GVMH, Raleigh with the 40 bomb there, 40 and 20 on the car. What a fucking half for Raleigh. 38 and 21 for Hooli as well. Once again, I mean, he's pretty much a 70 kill guy every game this season with just about a 2-to-1 KD. I think it's like 1.7 right now. But yeah, 38 and 21, crazy. And then No Name with 36 and 19. I mean, the big three for them are just consistently being insane. Obviously, what do you end up with here? 78, 108, 114. So just a shade under a 40 kill average between the three of them. What are you supposed to do against that? And then Pijisku with 27 and 18, man. How many times have I talked about it? Like, these guys are just continuously getting better and better. I really liked what we were seeing just in that Frag of the Week clip out of PG as well. Like, the way that he played that clip was really, really clever. Like, he looked like a veteran heavy in DoD 1.3 there with the whole way he played that clip out. It is showing week in and week out. These guys just continuing to improve. And then, yeah, 11 for Aki, 11 for Sango. Big W for GVMH against Emo Frag Squad. And again, I really don't have much much info. Just the very little that I saw from like 2 POVs on my phone while I was at a theme park. And that's going to be the common theme throughout the rest of this. I got pretty much nothing. I did not get to see any of these Thunder games. All right, what's the next silver game in the list? We got Band of Morons versus Expired. News in regards to the Expired side, there was basically the quickest way to sum it up is that Raven is not on Expired anymore, as we saw with the Ninja, and they are now called Revived. And they have MP, who was picked up last week on the team. They actually did pick up Lucky, Svelty, and Manga. So some changes there. The lineup going forward, I believe, will be MP sniping, Super and Fincher heavying, SQ, Anna, and Manga, I believe, as the third rifle. And then, obviously, you've got Coffee, Pocho, Lucky, and Svelty all right there, able to slot in anytime. Javi can play any class, of course. Like, it's a scary team still. It was a little more complicated what actually happened, but the really quick and easy way to say it is just Raven's not on the team anymore now. He's on the Ninja, and the team is renamed. Initially, it looked like the team died or something, and then they didn't. It was just a whole thing. Regardless, the last game under the Expired flag, Band of Morons take the dub against them. 234-66 is a crazy, crazy amount of points to score on Thunder 2 here. Let's see. Oh, Manga actually ranked for them on this map too. That's interesting. All right, so first half, Axis side for Band of Morons, 159-37. That's a huge, huge deficit coming out of your allied side there. Borderline insurmountable on this map, I would say. Not completely, but it's tough. Plus 26 the kills for Band of Morons side. On the Expired side, Raven, as we saw in the Frag of the Week, really good game. 31-19 for him there. 23 for SQ, 23 for Anna, 17 for Manga, 15 for MP, 13 for Pocho. So they're missing Fincher, they're missing Super, and Super, Fincher. They're definitely missing both the heavies and who was the other one that they wouldn't have had? Well, I guess would have been MP, Super, SQ, Fincher, Raven, Anna. Am I tripping? I guess they were just missing both the heavies. Yeah. So Pocho and Manga were the ones playing. It was, I don't know why it seems so complicated to me. On the Band of Morons side here, 29-16 for Darren there. Again, continuing this in-season battle for the top of the sniper scoreboard between Darren and Hooli. Be very curious to see where that ends up at the end. 28-19 for Drew, of course. What do you expect? This is what you get out of Crod. 28-22 for Insight with that nice Frag of the Week clip. 26 for Baron there. Oh, man, I hate when these fucking notifications are coming through, man. Oh, this is going to bug the shit out of me. I need to get rid of it right now. No, I don't want this. No, I don't want any of this. Get it all out of here. Disable all sound. Thank you. Thank you. 26 for Baron on the car. 23 for Cody and 14 for Casino. And then on to the second half. Wow, the screenshot. Oh, it's two different people screenshots. That's why I was like, wow, the res changed. What the hell happened here, Darren? You only took one screenshot, bro? I'm disputing you. Unbelievable. All right, so 75-29 on the Allied side, plus 26 in the kill total for Band of Morons. 4 Expired, 28-16 for Raven. Again, a really good half for him. 28-21 for SQ, 17 for Manga, 16 for MP and Anna, 13 for Pocho, and then very evenly distributed frags here on the Band of Moron side. 28 for Baron, 27 for Insight, 26 for Darren, 22 for Casino, 21 for Crod, and 20 for Cody. Just bottom fragger is at 20, top fragger is at 28. Can't ask for much better of a team effort there across the board. Band of Morons with another W here against a tough Expired team. We'll see what happens going forward with Expired, or I don't even know how to do this, man. It's such a bummer when I don't have my actual setup. I'd rather just not wear my headset during the Dodcast, but here we are. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Revived, the team formerly known as Expired. They certainly have a lot of really good players. I think they'll be fine. We'll have to see who they're playing next week. You never know; they could get right back into the win column right off the bat. And yeah, Raven on to Ninja now is a huge pickup for them. Be curious to see what class he's playing. I know Steve had been sniping for the Ninja, so will Raven snipe? Will he? I mean, he can play anything. It's just I think he has been a main sniper most of the time, so it'll be interesting to see how they end up deploying him there. But no matter what he plays, that's a huge pickup for the Ninja in the Bronze Division. What do we got next here? So Price is Right versus Best Buds and Clan X versus Clinic. Those were the two big games of the week. First things first, the undefeated Best Buds taking their first loss of the season here. 2 Price is Right just to make Silver all the more of a fucking shit show in the standings. 24-point win for Price is Right here. Again, another game that I would have loved to get to cast. Didn't get to do it. I don't know what was happening this week, if the HLTVs didn't get recorded or if people had like conflict in the HLTV recordings and stuff. I have no idea. Like if 2 people try to record the same HLTV with the HLTV EXE method, does it like fuck it up? I don't know. It's just crazy that there was only 2 HLTVs recorded for the week. So I'm assuming something went wrong. Just because usually it's like every match gets recorded, right? It's rare to see only 2 coming out of the week, or if it's just because it was Thunder 2, so people feel like the games are boring and didn't care about getting the game casted, or what. I personally love watching Thunder games. It's a lot of interesting tactical things happening, and it can tell you really more about the likelihood of a team going all the way, in my eyes, than a Lennon game or a Harrington game, where it's just like who gets the best timing and doesn't miss their shot, or has like the most fortunate nade fucking explosive area, right? Like on a map like this, it's so imperative that your team works together and plays the game in an effective way as a unit. So, Price is Right, debuting the lineup with Soya in it here as well. I'm unclear on if this is the lineup they got for the rest of the season, or if Soya is going to be sniping because Pibian is going to not be able to play at a certain point, because obviously we all know Soya is a sniper mainly. I have no idea. No clue. All I know is that this was the lineup for this week, and Soya is a huge pickup for this team. But first half was Axis side for Best Buds, and they win the Axis side by 6. Plus 15 in the frags. That's a pretty dramatic game right there. Best Buds come out on the hard half and win. Only by 6 points, but they still won. So for Best Buds, 34 and 15 for War Within. What a half for him on the sniper there. Bobby with 29. Nicholson eats ass. I almost called him Big Bird, and then I almost called him Darren, but it's Nicholson eats ass. 25 kills, 21 for the Brom Bomb, 20 for Hopper, 17 for Piff, and on the Price is Right side, 27 for Kellen, 26 for Pibian, 25 for Tony, 20 for Leo, 19 for Corey, 14 for Soya. And then, hey, Axis side for the Price is Right. They end up winning 92-62. That's actually pretty crazy. So there was 98 points here total in the first half between the two teams, and then 92 points just on Price is Right, nearly double the total points overall. Be curious to know, was there multiple capouts, or in this half, was it just that nobody got mid for a while? Unclear. I'm assuming there was at least one cap out. I could be wrong. But we're missing a guy for the Best Buds side. 30 points was the deficit. Let's see, deaths here. So it looks like it was probably... Wait, what? Probably about 20 kills and 18 deaths. Wait, who are we missing there? Adam? Yeah, Adam's not there. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, at least 18 deaths and could be about 20 kills. So I'd say, Adam probably had around 20. So the kills are probably like plus 10. Sounds like basically what I would expect Adam to do, right? Like 20, 23 and 18 basically in the half. I mean, obviously there's probably a TK or two, but basically. So Reptar with 25 on the Garand, 24 for War, 23 for Piff, 19 for Hopper, and Nicholson eats ass. And as I said, Brownlee, it looked like he was probably around 20. And then for the Price is Right side, 31 and 16, basically 2-1 for the Pibmeister there. Great game for him. 27 for River Oyster on that Oon piece. 24 for Corey Price on a car. 22 for both Leo and Soya on the other two rifles, 14 for Tony on the Unter, and a huge, huge win for the Price is Right here, ending the undefeated season of Best Buds. They are now at 3-1. Look at this division, man. I mean, this is crazy. So obviously you got the three teams here that have one win. Emo Frag Squad beat Volvo. Did Volvo beat? Yeah, Volvo beat Revived, and then Revived beat Emo Frag Squad. So the tiebreaker situation down there is also a shit show. GVMH, easily could be seen as the favorite right now. When you get to the point of late stage playoffs with that much more time for these guys to continue to develop. Clinic, in my opinion, was the preseason favorite. They're at 2-2 right there. Price is Right was another one of the preseason favorites, and they just took out what was the 1 seed prior to this. They also beat Band of Morons, who's sitting at 3-1. If they end up in a tiebreaker scenario with Price is Right definitely has the tiebreaker there. It was a pretty sizable win for Price is Right, if I recall correctly as well. Right? Yeah, 228-37 on Rail Yard. And then sitting at the top now by themselves, Clan X at 4-1. Let me just pull up their actual individual thing here. So they beat Emo Frag Squad in week 1. They beat Revived in week 2. Then they lose to Band of Morons. Again, a pretty sizable win there by Band of Morons, which means in a tiebreaker scenario, again, that's where Band of Morons would have the advantage. So I assume what's going to happen, just to make it as crazy as possible, is that we'll have a tiebreaker between Clan X, Band of Morons, and Price is Right. Because then Price is Right is the tiebreaker on Band of Morons, who has the tiebreaker on Clan X, who do they have the tiebreaker on Price is Right? They haven't played yet. So, unclear. And frankly, if they beat Price is Right at that point, I think because that would be the third loss, it would be a little bit harder for there to be a three-way tie anyways. But they also have the tiebreaker on Clinic after this week's W that we're about to check out here. 122-100 for Clan X. An absolutely huge win to get here against Clinic. Looks like Clinic was missing somebody. Who would they have been missing? No Debo? Yeah, no Debo. Looks like Baron playing for Debo there. I mean, with this team, they have so many guys that could be playing week in and week out. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was Debo. Insam isn't there either. No Walter as well. So, yeah, basically either Debo, Insam, or Walter. Baron ends up in, Allen ends up in. But first half, Axis side for Clan X, a 70-point win there, plus 37 on the kill total. For the Clinic side, 22 for Tom, 22 and 15 there. 21 apiece for both Allen and Vic, 17 for Baron, 14 for Sam and for Scott. And then on the Clan X side, 33 for Nitrox. We saw him in the Frag of the Week getting some clips. Rafinha getting back into action this week with 31 kills. 23 for Matt, 23 for Bitch X, 19 for Bud, 17 for Mand. And then second half, Clinic comes up just short of doing basically the exact same thing. You can see 25 were the points for Clan X here, 27 for Clinic in their allied side, and then, so yeah, it's like a 20, I mean, I guess it was basically like a 22-point differential on what they did on the Axis side. I assume that's not a full cap. That's kind of crazy, right? The way that works out tick-wise. I like, you would think that shouldn't be possible unless there was like a cap out, but maybe it was just no team getting mid for long enough, and then Clinic basically had mid for Clan X had mid for as much of the half as Clinic did in their allied side, but Clinic just didn't have enough time holding mid on their Axis side to quite get those extra 22 points there or whatever. I don't know. Again, I didn't see any of these games. So in this half, as I said, plus 48 for Clinic. Kills were actually plus 3 in favor of Clan X. On the Clinic side, Scott with 27, Sam with 26, Tom with 25, Vic with 23, Baron with 18, Alan with 17, and for Clan X, Bitch X with 29, continuing his great return season in DOD, 28 and 13 for Nitrox, including that Frag of the Week clip, 27 for the Baby Goat, 20 for Matt, 18 for Matt, and 17 for Bud, 4 and 1 for Clan X. They sit atop the shark-infested silver waters by themselves now. Obviously, Best Buds and Band of Morons right behind them. Best Buds beat Clan X, right? No, they haven't played them yet. Okay. So Clan X's one loss is to Band of Morons. And Band of Morons' one loss is to Price is Right. And then Price is Right actually have 2 losses, 1 to Game Violation Multiac, 1 to Clinic. Clinic, who just lost to Clan X. Like, it's just... The division is crazy, man. And then who was their other loss to? So it was Best Buds and Clan X. That Best Buds loss was also, as close as it gets. GVMH had multiple lag outs in the second half of that game. Like, this division could easily be like a fucking 5-way tie at the top, or 6-way tie or something. It's that close. Okay, that does it for silver. And now on to the gold side of things. So our game first. Well, actually, first we'll do the Dice versus Icy Hot makeup game on Anzio. So obviously this is from Anzio. This is from what, like week 2 or 3 or something like that. Dice missing Chris, right? And so they had a little bit of a weird lineup here. You ended up with Kevin on a heavy, along with Ryan. DB got in there. Of course, DB picked up like right where he left off, looking very, very good, heavying, playing a class that is not his natural class, just stepping in with no problem. You ended up with him on a heavy, Kevin on a heavy, Paul on the sniper, and then Matt and Alex on the cars, Johnny on the Stas. Now, in this first half, I mean, the first half was crazy. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Dice looked like they were going to walk out of their allied side with a lead by about a cap out. And then Icy Hot, pretty much right after Dice had capped out with like, I don't know, it was maybe 3 or 4 minutes left. Icy Hot basically capped out like as quickly as possible. Icy Hot started the half incredibly well. Dice woke up. They got their shit together. They started pressing forward. They get the lead. And then coming back straight after getting capped on, Icy Hot got a cap back to finish out the half. And then they kind of kept the momentum going forward here into the second half, 383 to 84 there. But yeah, so first half, 218 to 184 in favor of Icy out there. 34 points was the difference, plus 19 on the kills. On the Dice side, 23 for Paul on the sniper, 22 for Ryan on the bar, 19 for Kevin on the bar. It looks like that's an 18 for Alex on the Garand, 15 for Matt, 15 for Johnny. And on the Icy side, 32 for Sean on the car, 24 for Ben, 22 for Justin, 22 for William. Is that a 16 or a 15? I cannot tell. It looks like a 16 for Jesse and a 16 for Chi, maybe? It's hard to tell. It's hard to say for sure. Jesse plays in low res. It's so hard. Okay, so maybe, yeah, those have got to be 16s. That number there looks like that. And then this is a 15. That doesn't look like either of those. So yeah, and then yeah, as I said, second half, the momentum for Icy Hot just kept going strong. Justin Lynch was going out of his mind. Sean was killing everything everywhere. Ben was doing what Ben always does, and they were just, fucking car running downhill on the loose there. It was going to be impossible to stop it. 383 to 84. We are missing one person from the screenshots here. I think it's Johnny. Death-wise, yeah, he probably had like, around 18. Wait, what's the math there? Yeah, in the teens. Okay, so for dice, 22 for Paul, 20 for Matt, 20 for Alex, 16 for Ryan, 14 for Kevin, and right around there for Johnny. And then on the icy outside, Sean with 34, 28 for both Justin and Ben, 23 for William, 22 for Chi, and 21 for Jesse. It just, momentum is a thing in DoD, right? Like, and obviously, way even beyond that, for dice, you're missing a starter, and I know that may not seem like that big of a deal. And I'm not saying that it's definitely like, yeah, that if they had Chris, they win this game. But it does make a big difference, believe it or not, even just one guy missing. On top of that, they kind of like swap classes around to fill that gap as well, right? Like, I mean, obviously, they have multiple guys that can fucking snipe at the top of the game here with not just Kevin, but Paul and Ryan and Johnny. And I guarantee you Alex could do it too. And I've seen Matt do it. So it's not like the end of the world, but it's a very different game when you move one guy out of the mix that is a starter. Like, just speaking from my own experience on Thunder and how often, outside of like KTP season 2, 3, and 5. Those 3 seasons, we generally had like our main 6 playing at all times. And then the rest of the time that Thunder's been a team, we're usually missing one guy out of our main 6, at least. In a lot of instances, 2. And even though you might be able to put one guy on that class and one guy in that class, and skill-wise it matches, it still changes the whole dynamic of things, right? Like, I can be swapped off the sniper and go play on a rifle and get as many or more kills that there would have been if the other guy was there. And then the guy who's sniping for me could get as many or more kills than I got on the sniper. But it's so different in the team dynamic of how, not just the way you're moving around the map, but also the communications. Like, as a sniper for me, I am very like hands-on and communicative about everything, because you have that bird's eye view of the map at all times. And generally, Kevin and me and him were talking about this in one of my streams one time, like, sniper is generally doing so much work that is probably not even really thought about, because we're calling so much information that we're seeing along the way that the average player just doesn't even know about, right? Like, they're getting so much information fed to them by snipers who are doing that it really adds up a lot. And then you throw into the mix that you're losing that. So now that communication is getting lost if if this guy isn't making those same calls because this guy is over on this area now, so he's not getting that information. And now this guy normally would have been rotating this way, but now he's, not on that class and not on that route. So now where normally you maybe would have had a break here, you don't. It adds up a lot. Icy can attest to this even too, right? Like, they're basically playing with a new lineup now as well, with Chi coming into the mix. No Vertex, right? Like, one player can seriously make or break a team in a lineup, especially in the top lineups who get so regimented with one another and so familiar with one another. That's really where Thunder's success has come from. And, over the years, a lot of it has been mainly the way that we play off of one another with the guys that are our main 6. In particular, like me, Ryan, and Tox, going all the way back to like 2007. Like, that core 3 have been there week in and week out. And then obviously now with Brian, he's been in the mix since like 2008 too. Jules since like 2009. If Hudson's there, John Gale, like one guy can make a huge, huge difference, no matter how things shape up on paper when you look at who took whose spot and who's on what class and how good they are and everything like that. It really is a lot. And it's just, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much, especially in games like this against the best of the best, like how big a deal that is. I mean, it really is like fucking night and day, game breaking kind of stuff. We saw what it looks like with both teams with their best 6 at the LAN, and it is such like these teams are so evenly matched. This was again and Icy Hot too, no Vertex, right? But I don't know. Originally, I thought that DICE had rescheduled the match specifically to make sure that they got their 6, so I'm guessing something came about like at the last minute there that Chris wasn't able to show, or if DICE was just like, fuck it, we're never going to be able to get our starting 6 on, so we're just going to play it now. But yeah, I mean, you could see in the first half how closely matched these teams were, and then momentum with Icy Hot getting that last cap out at the end of the half, right after it looked like DICE was maybe going to be in full control of this game. That's a very real thing in DoD as well. Momentum. I mean, look at Insomnia versus 3H on Anzio. Anzio in particular can be very momentum based. Same with Harrington and Lennon. Not so much maybe on Thunder. Not so much on like a map like Shamil. It doesn't really come into play as much. Saints it can, but I guess it's a totally different version of Saints. Armory, 50-50. I've seen momentum just get fucking snuffed out like that on Armory 2 with teams trying to go all out for that first cap and just getting wiped and losing the whole fucking map. But yeah, this is a really good example of how much even just missing one guy can throw things off, and a good example of how much momentum comes into play. And then for DICE, they had to go right after this and come play a Thunder match as well against us. And try to hit me with my fucking spiking all over the place. I guess my ping doesn't really reflect it there, but I can tell you that leading into this match, in pregame when I was running around, I had multiple people on my team being like, you look like you have 500 ping right now, but I had like 20 ping. I was just skipping all over the place. Okay, so Thunder versus DICE on Thunder here. First half Axis side for us, 58-40. Kills were plus 33 for us there. On the DICE side, 25 for Matt, 23 for Alex, 23 for Paul, 17 for Kevin, 15 for Ryan, 13 for Johnny. And then, oh man, the fuck is going on? 30 for Brian, 29 for Jules, 27 for John, 26 for Jared, 23 for J-Rod, because we were missing Ryan and then every backup. So J-Rod played, and then 14 for me. And then second half, 82-18 kills. Who are they missing here? Johnny. So, I mean, the kills were probably something closer to like 166 to, well, I guess like 102 or something like that. 82-18 for the DICE side, 26 for Paul, 20 for Alex, 19 for Matt, 14 for Kevin, 10 for Ryan. And then on our side, it was, wow. So it was like everybody basically had 30 except for me. 31 for Brian, 30 for Jared, 30 for John, 29 for J-Rod, 29 for Jules, and 17 for Canadian Internet Yagoon. And yeah, we got the win there. It's super unfortunate for the DICE guys having to play both those matches back to back and be missing someone. Thunder has had to do this so many times. I know how much that sucks. Where it's just, you just can't get your main 6 on. I mean, we still continuously have this problem in this season right now. It's nice to be able to have J-Rod to come in when we absolutely can't get 6, obviously. But usually if we can't get 6, that means we're missing, like Brian or Jared or Brian or Jules or whatever. It's never me, because I don't think I've missed a match in KTP yet. I'm pretty sure Chi can back me up on that. At least the last time we checked, I think it was in like season 6, I had not missed a KTP match, and I haven't missed one since then. So I'm pretty sure I am crowned the biggest fucking loser. And that's just that. All right. Where is the next one? Okay. First of all, I must have passed. There it is. G-Skill versus Soul. So this one, G-Skill took 257-55, 202-point win there for G-Skill. First half on the Axis side, 134-8, plus 74 in the kill totals, but it looks like maybe Blackhawk lagged out there, I would assume. On the Soul side, though, 27 for Brandon, 21 for Cam, 21 for Shreddies, 19 for Craig, 14 for Justin, and then I'm assuming a lag out on the Blackhawks side here. 122 deaths, though, so probably like he had, basically 20 kills in total. And then on the G-Skill side, 38 for Milo on the bar there, 32 for Andrew, 31 for both Chuck and Colin. We saw Colin with some clips in the frag of the week there. Frank on a bar with 24, and Savage getting in there again this week, 22 and 16 with the Garand. And then second half Axis side for G-Skill here, 123-47, plus 66 on the kills. Missing one guy from the screenshot there. It's PB. 27 for Craig, 23 for Cam, 22 for Shreddies, 21 for Blackhawk, 18 for Brandon, and then probably around 20 for Justin. And then for the G-Skill side, Colin top frag and almost dropping a 40 with the Stas there. 35 for Frank, 32 for Andrew, 27 for Chuck, 25 for Milo, and 20 for Savage. Did everybody, I think, go positive there? They did. Just a G-Skill half right there. Everybody pulling their weight. Nobody goes negative. That's the G-Skill way. Another big victory there. I guess I should do the last game before I go look at the standings. So, ICF versus Over. This is one of the two games that I have the HLTVs for. The other one was actually the Wickeds versus the Ninja game, so I'll be able to cast those when I'm back in Buffalo. 125-69 for ICF. Pretty close game there with Over. On the Axis side, 64-36 for the ICF side, plus 9 on the kills. 35, of course, for Nightmare, 35 and 14, of course. 26 for Caffrey, 21 for SC, 20 for Sokka, 17 for Devin, 13 for Kum. For the ICF side, Sean with 41 and 19 on the car. Just a ridiculous half there. Over 2-1 KD. 26 and 19 for William. 28 for Jesse on the Unter. 26 and 19 for Sick on the car. 17 for Ben. 15 for Chi. 14 for Justin. And then the second half, they win by 28 plus... somebody's missing there. So probably like another 20 kills. So basically like plus 10 again on the kill total side there. Very close. Looks like it was... Who was missing there? Sokka. Yeah, Sokka probably with about 20 kills. Over was 30 and 16 again, basically 2-1 for Nightmare there with 30 kills. 26 for Caffrey, 24 for Kum, 22 for Devin, 20 for SC, give or take 20 for Sokka. And then on the ICF side, 30 for Jesse, 30 for William, 26 for Chi, 25 for Ben, 22 for Justin, and 21 for Sean. Another big W for ICF that week. And taking a look at the standings on the gold side here, you can see a three-way tie at the top right now. The tiebreaker situation is G-Skill beat Thunder, who beat Icy Hot, who beat G-Skill. So I have no idea how this works. Does that mean, does it, I don't even know how that works. Does it go to point differential then? Which would, I guess, be, G-Skill, Icy Hot, Thunder. I'm assuming that's what it does. Or if it's, I know that there's been times where it's like they do head-to-head, specifically the point differential in the head-to-head, rather than the point differential overall. I know they've done that in the past for the tiebreaker, just because it's like, well, point differential overall, it's just who won by more against the teams that they're not tied with. I don't know. I'm not sure. It says head-to-head and then point differential, but I think that's deceiving, if I recall correctly how I've seen them do tiebreakers in the past. I don't know. Regardless, a three-way tie at the top here, looking very crazy, and that's, with Dice right behind there, a team who very easily can beat anybody any week on any map. Right now, Dice is like the possum here, like if you think that Dice is down and out, you are going to be sorely mistaken, because this team will be absolutely absurd when it matters most, always. That's just how good these guys are and how clutch they are, regular season is whatever when it comes down to it. What matters most is come playoff time. This is all just really a warm-up for that. So if you think that Dice is fucking down and out right now, do not kid yourself. Same with Over and Soul, obviously. I mean, the fact that Over is winless right now is just crazy. They're so fucking good. It's so tough to play against. They have a real, like, the point differential you can see is like closer to a 2-3 team. It's just one of those things where they have had some shit luck. And yeah, just looking at the standings there, there's ties basically. You know, you got 4-1 and 4-1 for No Go and Rodeo. You got 3-1 and 3-1 for Band of Morons and Best Buds. Clan X with that one game in hand. I think their bye's got to be coming up soon, right? There's their bye, Harrington. So not this week, but the following week. After that point, things will be a little bit more clear. And then, as we just saw in the Gold Division, a 3-way tie at the top here. We haven't seen anything quite like this, I think, since KTP Season 3, when there was Thunder, T3, Typical, Icy Hot. I think, let's see. Is this still valid? Will this actually show up for me here? Because I'm pretty sure in this season we ended up with like a 3-way tie. Could be wrong. Standings. Almost. Okay, wait, this is Season 3. I think it was actually Season 2 that I'm thinking of. Because here we do end up with Thunder and Icy Hot at 5-1, T3 at 4-2. If I go like this. The season with Typical, when they had Frank and Milo and Colin, is the season that I'm thinking of, where it was like, yeah. So 7-2 for T3, 7-2 for Thunder, and then Typical and Icy Hot are 5-4. PMC right behind by a game, Over right behind by a game, Clinic right behind them. Like that was a crazy season. And during the season, it was like, actually, we can just fucking look at it, right? Thunder, who did we lose to? We beat Typical on Halley. We lose to Clinic on Anzio, that's right. Beat Over on Thunder. Lose to T3 on Railyard. That was that 1-point game. And then T3, who do they lose to? T3 loses to Typical on Solitude. And where's the other loss? Huh. Where the hell's the other loss? Can't even tell. Oh, wait. No, I already saw that one. Win. What? Oh, Over on Anzio. I forgot about that. Yeah. T3 lost to Over on Anzio. And then Typical lost to us. And oh wait, no, they had an extra loss in there, right? They were 5-4. Yeah, okay. So, regardless, this is very reminiscent of that season. All right, moving forward as quickly as we can, as the clock is ticking toward the moment that I got to get in the car and drive for 7 hours. Okay. There's still this makeup game to do in the bronze side. Let me take a look at what's going on in the... This is that makeup game. Price is Right with a buy. This is postponed. We're still going to talk about it. And then we play against Icy, G-Skill, Over, Soul, Dice. What about on the match alert side here? GVMH versus Revived at 4. Uncle Rico versus The Wicked 9:30. That one maybe I'll be able to catch at the end. Best Buds Clan X. That's 9, so unfortunate. Going to need the HLTV for that. This one at 10 I should be able to do. They have a buy. Okay. All right, I see what we're cooking with here. I smell what the rock is cooking. All right. Bronze. So, starting it off, We know what the match of the week is here, Rodeo versus No-Go. We're playing Solitude 2. We've only really had one season of play on this Solitude. Overall, contrary to what I think a lot of people feel like, it's basically still just Solitude. When all is said and done, it plays mostly like just regular Solitude. Once they re-added the double cap, it's a quick double cap on the grassy knoll side, but once that was put back in, like you before that, the previous version of the updated Solitude, when it was just a single cap over there or no cap, you could basically send one guy there. Like, it became the train car route, which was just pointless. So now it's kind of back to being more of a 3-3 split. It's less nady, but still very nady. But getting rid of the fucking stupid skybox nades everywhere, which should be done on Harrington as well. I will forever say, even if you don't get rid of all of them on Harrington, you should probably at least like cut it in half, because some of those nades are just stupid. But yeah, it generally just plays like Solitude. Like, it's just Solitude with some extra steps at this point. So not a lot to really like learn meta-wise. I don't expect to see anything game-breaking being done. Like, you can still deploy the same kind of fucking strats. It's just you can't really have guys just kind of wander around on the long side of the map. Really, you can't let guys wander around on either side of the map, because everything is pretty well interconnected. If you just let guys push through the old double through grassy knoll, they can flank your church side so fast, and same goes for the other end of things. One team can't really flood one side and just give up the other side, because very quickly they will get flanked, whether it be the Axis flooding church and getting flanked from double cap, or same thing, really, either side, or flooding double cap and the church side being wide open, and then all of a sudden you're getting flanked at the top or at the bottom. It's basically just Solitude with a few less cringy things available. It's definitely, you add in the factor of one less secondary flag for each side, which is a little weird. That aspect of things feels a little weird to me. There's like just this sort of extra area that doesn't have anything happening in it. The old Allied second flag, after you get through the tunnels from the grassy knoll side, you still got to fight guys there, right? And that's still the way to pass through to the back side of the one, or get up into the jump window doors to go to the one. And then same thing on the Axis side. Like, you have the slip and slide to the archway area that used to be the Axis 2. Now, I mean, it's very rare that you see guys end up there that much. That used to be like the spot to get to, because you could get the 2 and you could really put a cap out under threat. Now, if you don't want to go that way, you don't really have to. You should probably at least end up, if you're going for a cap out, at least one guy should be over there, because otherwise you're all in this small area, in barrel and hole. So in that regard, it is still the most effective way to go about it. It's just without the flag there's a little bit less incentive to do it. So it still feels kind of weird. I don't know. I guess that's just, again, a matter of subjective opinion, whether you like those second flags being gone or not. It's not that I don't like it or think it's the wrong thing. It just feels weird still to me at this point, because of that extra space that there is in those areas, where it just kind of, you're used to pushing the tunnel from double cap as an Axis, fighting guys there, and then getting that flag and trying to like hold and get your team another wave to come up and then work together for a full cap. Obviously, ninja capping on this map is always something to be worried about, and without the extra flag, like, it just comes down to getting whichever double caps you don't have, and then that guy can be ready to go from a ninja standpoint. And yeah, it's interesting. It plays fast. Solitude already played overall fast, but slow in the grassy knoll side of things, because once you got it, in a lot of instances, you really didn't want to lose it. But now with the second double cap over on the church side, which I believe is worth more points as well, I think it's a 2-to-1, kind of like Armory. I could be wrong on that, though. Don't quote me. I feel like that's what I've been seeing out of the configs. But yeah, like Grassy Knoll is not the be-all, end-all anymore, where you're going to end up with like 6 guys sitting in the Grassy Knoll, and 3 of them are prone and like just doing crazy things just to hang on to the double cap. Which, hey, again, we've seen some really fun games play out like that. Again, not a definite negative that that's gone, or a definite positive that that's gone. It's just one of the differences. And then, dealing with Garden is a little bit easier now for the Axis side because you have that second exit out of the hole. You don't have the stupid ability to be nated from everywhere on the map over the top of the hole. Yada, yada, yada. So it's still, though, with all that said, it still basically plays like Solitude. Having scrimmed it however many times and played a match on it and stuff, I didn't come out of it like, man, I don't know how to play this map. It's like, oh, you just play it like Solitude. Whatever class you are, just play it the way you played it before, unless you were heavily reliant on throwing nades over the top of skyboxes, in which case there will be a little bit of an adjustment period for you. But short of that, it's just Solitude with an extra double cap and the one less single flag on each side. Okay. There was one, it's not on this side of things. It's in the silver, so there's one lineup that I got sent that was going to be a little different, but it's best buds. For the Wickeds versus Uncle Rico's Time Machine, though, here, we did see Barinia is back, so it's Barinia time I got on the Wicked side. Barinia, Leto, Bullet, Jiraiya, AZ, and then from there, Jiraiya Jr.'s been playing. We've seen Ryan play. I would love to see both Zaps and Barinia get in there. I just want to see the Wickeds with like their best possible 6 and see what they bring to the table. Because I think they can beat anybody else in bronze when they have their best 6. They're very, very capable of it. And now I think they have that option again with Barinia being back around. But we'll see what happens there. And then it was Uncle Rico's Time Machine, right? I'm not tripping. Yes, Uncle Rico's Time Machine. Durr. I literally just said it. So, Head Like a Hole on the sniper, Purdy on a rifle, G on a rifle, Ian on a rifle, Cadaver getting to rep the heavy, which I've talked about. I've always known him as heavy. G is taking one for the team here, getting off the class that he has always played in order to get Cadaver onto his natural class. I think G will be just fine on a rifle. He's got good aim. Like, it's just a matter of getting used to the positions and stuff. And the nades, you have that extra nade, so you want to take advantage of it, but I think he will be just fine. And then it gets Cadaver that added level of comfort. And then obviously ST Kevin in the house on the heavy, sample it, playing whatever he needs to play if he gets put in there. Solitude. This is a map that was not played that much it was definitely played when Ian was around, and I would guess that Cadaver had to play it in like maybe 1 or 2 matches over the seasons. It certainly wasn't like a main map the way it became later on. But, they know how to play this map, whether it's this version or the other version. They're going to be just fine. Again, for the Wickeds, I really want to see them with their best 6, Like, if they have their best 6 here, I think this game could go either way very easily. I like what I've seen out of the Wickeds this season. I think we've seen the development of that team continue to grow and grow. And the added weaponry, the added firepower of Barinia being available now. If you can have Barinia and Zaps, AZ, Ryan, all these guys in the lineup at the same time, that's a lot of firepower. These are guys who were playing at the top of the silver division for season after season. Very, very capable of just going off. I'm inclined to say Uncle Rico's Time Machine. They've been very, very impressive as well. They too are developing right now because Cadaver and Ian coming back to the game after years and years, it's not the same kind of development, but they are still getting back into the swing of things. You see the flashes of what they are capable of plenty of times just in the games that I've casted for them. It's just a matter of when they get back to the point where it's like this is their baseline, right? Like that, those peaks become their baseline instead of just being like what you get to see 5 or 6 times a game. And I don't think they're super far off from that. Certainly, it also doesn't help when they're playing like newer maps that that they didn't really get the reps on in the past too, just to make it a little bit more difficult to get themselves back into things. Like a map like Thunder, it's technically Donner, yeah, but like muscle memory is a thing. Their muscle memory is for Donner, and a lot of the things that you would do on Donner aren't going to work on Thunder because they're just those slight differences. Things that were absolutely not the right call to do on Donner are now the best possible plays on Thunder, right? So these things are factors, but once it gets to playoff time, you're generally going to be playing like the maps that everybody has played a million times. So that's what matters the most. And I do like this change as well, getting Cadaver on a heavy, just to get that added level of comfort into the mix here. G also a really good heavy. It's just, I think G being willing to take that hit for the team, getting onto a different class, and ready to put the time and effort in to get himself up to speed with that class, allowing Cadaver, who's just coming back to the game after so many years, to be able to just, lock in on the class he's most familiar with, and let the boys work in around him. I think that bodes well for Uncle Rico's Time Machine for the rest of the season. You got just a beast in Stark there as well. Like if Cadaver getting back into heavying and having Stark as heavy partner, that is a tough fucking heavy team for anyone else to compete with. And yeah, I'm going with Uncle Rico's Time Machine here. These Solitude games, season after season, are always some of the craziest score lines, like really close games, overtime potential games we've even seen. I think this one will be close. I think the Wickeds is really close to breaking through. They obviously got their win, but I think they're close to breaking through to where they, every week could beat whoever they're playing against. Obviously No-Go, I think, still the main favorites. Rodeo right there. Rifle Nades and Uncle Rico's Time Machine right there as well. I'm really interested in this new Ninja roster going forward. Bronze is pretty wide open. I think you mainly have to favor No-Go. I think they could easily be undefeated right now. It was really an individual crazy play by CK winning Rodeo that game against No-Go, or else No-Go was undefeated and kind of running away in the bronze side of things. So I am inclined to call them the favorite as it stands right now, but I think everybody is capable of beating each other in that division still. Next up, Rifle Nades versus the Ninja. So this one, it's tough. This is going to be tough because I don't know what the Ninja lineup is supposed to look like. I'm assuming Raven is going to be playing consistently. Is Miller still playing? He wasn't playing last week. Illusion was playing last week. Is he going to be playing consistently? If Illusion and Raven are both playing consistently, that alone is very problematic for the rest of the division. Because all they need is the guys around them to just play their roles at that point. They don't need anyone else to go off for 60 to 70 kills ever, because those two guys will be doing it regularly. And then you add in the Vanscap guys, which is just so crazy to have 3 guys from Vanscap back in the mix, and Low Carb popping back up now. Haven't seen him since KTP season 2 or something. And all the potential with these Call of Duty players in Woody, Verb, and Steve. This is such an interesting, and that's, again, not even including Miller in this mix, who is one of their star players. Lots of potential for this Ninja team now, and really use that roster unlocking to the maximum possible potential. And then on the Rifle Nade side, Arachnid, Azilla, Firo, Chrono, those have pretty much always played, those 4 guys. And then Celts has been playing pretty regularly. Henry has been playing pretty regularly. We saw Boom at least once, maybe twice. But yeah, and then they got obviously Medic, Virus X, Pipes. They got a lot of options there. It's just a matter of who is available and who is not available. Solitude. Looking at the sniper versus sniper battle here, again, I'm assuming Raven is sniping, but that is not even close to guaranteed. I think you get a guy like Raven. You have Steve coming over to a new game here and has been mainly sniping. I think odds are you probably want to just keep Steve on the sniper here. Already asking these guys to get used to an entirely new game at a competitive level. Raven can play anything. I would say that at bare minimum, they should really try to have that be the way it goes. I know that's not optimal for Raven because he probably would prefer to snipe, but Steve has shown growth on the sniper rifle, shown a lot of potential, and Raven is a guy that you want to be a star player, and the sniper's not often on a lot of maps, at least, going to be the guy that like carries you to a victory. It's just the way it goes. Like, you'll see snipers have these big scores, but rarely it's like, wow, we won that game because our sniper did this. It happens. There's maps that are made for that, especially. But this is a rifle-dominated game, and it's a game where a strong performance by a heavy can be the thing that makes or breaks you. Snipers are all generally going to perform pretty well to great. The floor for the snipers is a lot higher than it is for anything else, and the ceiling, I think, is generally lower. Like, you're not going to see in evenly matched games a sniper get 60 kills in a half, but you will see that out of a rifle or out of a heavy. I couldn't tell, Kevin maybe was the last guy. He might have not even gotten 60. It might have been like 54, something like that. It's just, to me, it would make more sense to have Steve keep sniping and have Raven on whatever else they need him to play on. The rifle nades guys, I think, are very, very scary in this division still, regardless of what the records are showing right now. You have some guys getting back into 1.3 here that are already looking pretty fucking good considering, like a guy like fucking Chrono, man. He looks great already and has been out of 1.3 for years and years and years. He will only continue to get better. Firo coming back to the game as well. And then a guy like Celts, who is, a stud in DoD Source. The more hours he's getting in 1.3 at a competitive level, the better he's going to get. And then obviously you've got the absolute fucking rocks that are Arachnid and Azilla. Those guys are always going to perform. Man, I don't know. Like, if you show me this matchup a week ago before all these roster moves, I would have had no problem picking rifle nades just like that. Now I'm very curious about the Ninja roster. Now there's a lot of potential here. I'm still gonna go with rifle nades here. By like 50, 40, 50, basically a cap out. But I think this week will be a very good indicator of how I will pick games going forward when it comes to the Ninja side of things. Like, my opinion on them could change a lot this week, and I suspect it will. I think they're about to show Bronze that they are just as much in the mix for the Bronze ring as anybody else is. They did a great job with the roster unlock and making the most of it. Raven was really like the last big name left that was available, that had left a roster this season, and they snagged him. I know other teams were trying to, so big move for Ninja there to really solidify themselves, getting ready for the back half of the season and the playoffs. And then the biggest game in Bronze, Rodeo versus No-Go. The two teams tied at the top of the division. Rodeo has the tiebreaker, but would lose if they were tied. If No-Go wins this game and they both end up with the same record at the end of the season, as of right now, No-Go gets the tiebreaker if it's by point differential, because they have a 700-point lead on that. Very much not likely for them to lose that. Although, look at Uncle Rico's Time Machine is actually the next best fucking point differential. That's crazy. I think they might have had a 1,000-point win. I guess that probably helps a lot with that. I don't know. Regardless, two teams here with the rosters again being a little bit unclear. The Rodeo's roster, I think, is only going to keep changing as well. Like, I think Nick is not available, like, basically the playoffs, all the playoffs, maybe even some of the regular season. CK obviously playing. Meep back in the mix, huge. That was kind of like an addition from within, right? Like in pro sports when you have guys that are injured and then the trade deadline comes, but rather than go out and get somebody, you're like, well, one of our star players is going to be back from the injured list, so we don't even need to make the trade because we're going to improve just by this guy getting healthy. While them getting Meep back was very, very similar to that. Sir Snipey's on the sniper rifle, been so solid. Grunt, I believe, has been playing. LASIK definitely playing. The question is, Bestia, is he going to get to play? To me, Bestia is a really really good move for the rodeo here. To solidify things on the heavy side, right? Because it's been kind of a revolving door next to Nick. They had Yarrow at first, and that looked really good, but now he can't play, which is tough because I really like that heavy team. Obviously, you've got Grunt there available now. Bo is available. But, I mean, Bestia has shown he can be like a fucking X Factor level player in this division with the heavies. I mean, he... against, Rifle Nades on Lennon with the Ninja, Bestia basically single-handedly almost beat Rifle Nades in that game. Like, he was going off with the heavy against Rifle Nades in a game that I thought was going to be a blowout by Rifle Nades over the Ninja there when Illusion wasn't playing and AimTech wasn't playing. So, I don't know. I'm very curious to see how the lineup shakes out. Obviously, like I said, Nick going to be gone by the playoff time, so even if, I guess, Bestia isn't playing now, he's definitely going to be there when it matters the most. It's just, I don't know, it's a tough thing to navigate, I guess, when you got basically 7 players vying for 6 spots, and trying to figure out who's going to get in. I don't know if they do it by fucking rotation at that point, and, say this map you're in, this map you're in, this map you're in, this map you're in, just to keep guys fresh and getting reps. I don't know. It's a tough call. On the no-go side, it's even more unclear. You got Bosch, who's been playing very regularly now ever since he came back, another big roster unlock pickup. Jamie's generally been playing. Blue has generally been playing. Spoon didn't play this last week, but he too has generally been playing. Kush been maybe the MVP in the bronze division. Quarter always been playing. Koi been playing most of the time. Deedro been playing most of the time. It's so unclear what the lineup is going to be there. I assume for no-go, Greg will be back in the mix this week because they're playing against Rodeo and they really need to win this game if they want the 1 seed. So I'm guessing you end up with him on a heavy, and then who's the other heavy? Not so sure. Is it Blue? Is it Jamie? Is it even Cushy? Lots of question marks there. Sniper versus Sniper, Quarter versus Snipey is a little bit of a LAN rematch sniper battle there. On Solitude in this case. Solitude, it's not really a sniper map. Certainly, snipers can play. All right, here's the thing, right? Snipers can definitely get a lot of kills on it, but it's usually not a lot of kills in a close game. Usually, if one sniper is getting a lot of kills, it's because that team is winning the game by a lot, and the sniper is just able to hit these shots into hole and into loft and pretty safely sit in the church tower on allies or in the loft or underpass on Axis. Because usually if the game's going back and forth, you're just not safe enough on this map. There's too many ways to get you out of those safe sniper positions easily. On the double cap side, though, CK. This is really the key crux here. Rodeo needs CK to do what CK likes to do on Solitude, which is get like 100 kills. I can tell you, at the LAN, going into our Solitude game, it was like, oh, fuck, it's Solitude. That sucks. And then I was like, oh, wait, we have CK. Never mind. We're going to be fine. CK is like the person who loves this map more than anybody. It's a very nady map, and it's like tunnel vision nades, where it's not like you got to throw some crazy double bank nade. You just kind of run up with a well-primed nade and throw it at one spot, and odds are there's going to be a guy there, and then you got another one. CK is going to need to do a lot of work here. Thing is, they're going to need somebody able to do a lot of work on the underpass side, too. I'm assuming LASIK might be that guy over there. I'd be curious which heavy's going mid-house. Is it Nick? I'm guessing it's Nick, so in that case, he also going to need to be strong over there. I don't know, man. Shit. I mean, the fact that it's Solitude, like, I would lean no-go, I think. But then you add in the fact that it's Solitude and CK. Now I'm getting a little bit more like, oh, I don't know. I think if Bestia was playing too, that would make it even more like, now it's 50-50. I don't know that he's playing. I as far as I know, at least what I've seen out of them playing scrims, he has not been the other heavy. So I'm assuming not. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I lean no-go here, though. Coming into the season, it felt like no-go was the strongest team. And outside of that first week Lennon loss where CK had a 5K cap out, just being the Terminator, if not for that, no-go would be undefeated right now and have an even bigger lead, right? Like, because then Rodeo would be 3-2, they would be 5-0. It'd be a 2-game lead, and this game would not even matter all that much because they would be so far out ahead that even if Rodeo won this game, they would still be back and without a game to play against each other going forward. But I think it's going to be a fucking well fought back and forth game. Like we're talking single digit win in either direction here. It's just a matter of like, CK needs to be on his shit. The Rodeo needs the underpass side to be solidified as hard as possible for them to be able to win this game. And then, like for no-go, it's just they just got to show up and do what they do. I hope both teams have their best 6 here because this is a big game in the bronze division. Like this could be for all the marbles when it comes down to who gets the 1 seed in the playoffs, which is a big deal. Unclear what the situation is for the playoffs. How many teams are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So odds are 1 and 2 seed are getting a bye, right? And then it would be, like these 2 teams play each other, these 2 teams play each other. Winner moves on to play one of these, winner moves on to play one of these. So, yeah. I mean, in that regard, right, whoever loses this game is a little closer to not getting that first round bye. And believe me, you want the first round bye whenever possible because weird shit happens in the playoffs. So, yeah, that's where I stand with that one. Hopefully, I don't think that game is being played at a time when I can cast it live. Oh, no, it is. 10. Perfect. So I'll get to cast that game for sure live. That's good. That was not I think Clan X Best Buds. Yeah, I'm going to need that recorded. This game, maybe I'll be able to make in time, but I would say just record it either way. Just because you never know. Like we start at 9, but who knows if we'll actually start at 9. It's always 50-50 on everybody actually showing up right on time, especially on my team. 4 o'clock game I'll definitely get to do. Rifle Nades to Ninjas, not scheduled yet. We're supposed to be default. G-Skill Over would be an afternoon game, so I should get to do that. Soul versus Dice, it'll depend. They can probably just record. All right, Silver. Okay, let me just, because I got the lineup for Best Buds. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, okay. So, Best Buds side of things. The lineup is... Where'd it go? I was just looking at it. Oh, yeah, okay. Hopper and Chicago Legend on the main rifles. Nicholson Eats Ass on the third. PD and Piff on the heavies. And War on the sniper. That's the situation for the Best Buds this week. And then for the Clan X side of things, did I not hit this button? No, I didn't. I forgot to hit that button to begin with. So for Clan X, they're always a little bit, it's unclear who's going to play. Last week's lineup had Nitrox, Rafinha, Bud, Matt, Bitchex, and Man, but obviously Storm is in the mix now too. You can see him get in there and snipe a Nitrox rifle. You can see Lobaton get in there anytime and play any class realistically. Lot of movement that could happen there on the Clan X side. I mean, Best Buds, obviously, this is a big game for them. If they can win this game, they can retake first place because then they would have the tiebreaker over Clan X. Well, it wouldn't even matter, actually, because then Clan X would have 2 losses. Best Buds would only have 1. So, really, this is about retaking first place. Best Buds has not played against Band of Morons yet, so they could end up in a tie where we don't really know who has the tiebreaker yet. But, I'm excited to see PD getting back in the match mix now. I mean, he was literally a member of the original Online Thunder, like before I was ever on Online Thunder. The very first team that was titled Online Thunder playing in, well, first in Cal-O, and then they beat everybody that they played in Cal-O so bad they got moved up to IM, and then we're beating everybody in IM so bad, like it was PD and fucking Clutch, Tox, Hudson, Bull, Mike Pistilli, fucking Kano. Oh, just a very random team compared to Tax, VTech guys. But yeah, Petey getting back in the lineup here, Heving with Piff. Hopper, last time we saw him main rifle, I do believe he top fragged against No-Go last season on Railroad 2. So even though you might think of Hopper as a heavy, very, very capable of carring. And obviously Chicago Legend getting back in the mix, always very dangerous. And then War Within on the sniper. You know what you're going to get out of War. Whoever he's sniping up against, that's going to be a fun battle, whether it's Nitrox or Storm or even Man, potentially, if all else fails. Man, I don't know. This is also a really big game in the Silver Division and could dictate a lot of what happens going forward come playoff time. I mean, Clan X, if they're going to have Rafinha back playing regularly, that's huge for them because he's such like a guaranteed 60 kills per game. It's not the end of the world if they don't, but it really strengthens things up front for them. You know, Best Buds, even though they don't have like their starting six, they still have plenty of firepower here. And this team is built on teamwork. Like there's a reason that they are still sitting at the top of this division right now, like halfway through. It is not a fluke. This team is the real deal. And this match, I think, is a chance to really solidify that. Certainly, I'm sure that they wish they weren't like missing people for it, but they're going to be just fine. On a map like Solitude, a lot of it can just come down to firepower, so it could just come down to, like, do the guys on Best Buds have, you know, good games here frag-wise? Do the guys on Clan X do the same? Man, I don't know. You know, the wide open, kind of crazy pace of the map here, I think, might favor Clan X a little bit. But it is still a map that has so much connectivity. You need comms and teamwork and rotations to be on point, or else it can go from you have control of the whole map to you just got capped on like that. You know, last week I said I didn't want to pick Best Buds because I thought I would jinx them, but then I talked about it, right? So then it was like I jinxed them by talking about jinxing them. So now I don't even know what I'm supposed to say to not jinx them. I'm gonna go with. Oof. I'm gonna assume that Clan X has their best six playing here, and I'm gonna go with Clan X by 3 points. 3 points, and I think Rafinha is gonna get 76 kills in particular, and I think it's going to come down to, like, Best Buds going for a fucking cap out, and, like, Rafinha gets, like, a double kill on two guys prone diving for the flag. Mid-air. Two guys in mid-air, and Rafinha just... I feel like something crazy is coming for this game. It could go either way. Again, I'm just trying to avoid being a jinx, but I think this is going to be a barn burner of a game this week. I'm very excited to see how that goes. Okay, what do we got next? Band of Morons versus Volvo. So this game is getting pushed, we know, but... So Volvo and Pizza Hut, big addition here. Huge addition, in my opinion. That is a great player. Obviously, they only had 7 guys here, so it's tough if anybody's not going to be around. And Pizza Hut is just a very, very valuable, reliable player to be able to throw in the mix. Scotty, Yanni, Manor, Toki, Kingyo, Wua has been the main 6. If anyone's missing, you got Sean and Pizza Hut to go in there. On the Band of Morons side, they have basically like a revolving door lineup of 9 guys. Cody, Darren generally been playing and sniping, but James got to snipe the 1 week as well. I assume if Darren's not going to play, James is going on the sniper. But then if he can't play, you know, you can also just put Paul on the sniper as well. You know, Ben on a rifle, Cass on a rifle. Baron can play anything. Crawd's most likely going to heavy. Insight generally been third rifling. We saw his frag of the week clips doing so on Thunder. And then Casino generally on a rifles. I think I already said that. Cody can pretty much do whatever. I think he's kind of fills in based on what they need. You know, this is Band of Morons coming into the season. I said I felt like they were like the closest thing. Like if one more team had been in gold, I said like Band of Morons would have probably been that team. Because you just look at the team and it's like, oh my God, this is a lot of fucking insane players. And, you know, they have not disappointed in the results that they've got. Their first game of the season, a little bit rough against Price is Right, but Price is Right is an insane team, and Leo had like 100 kills in that game. Since then, they have looked unstoppable. I think that they most likely win this game. I think it's a good map for the individual players on the team. Like Crawd is just so tough. I can speak to this from playing against him at the LAN on Solitude. He's going to get his without question. We've seen Ben Insane be really, really good on this map as well. These guys are all very well conditioned, experienced, strong players that understand how to win. Thing is, Volvo also, same thing. It's just, man, the firepower on the Pandemorons side of things is just so never-ending. Like, you kill 5 of them and you still got to deal with the fucking freak of nature over there. Whoever ends up being the last guy alive, you're going to have to deal with them still. Volvo bring the tactical teamwork side of things to the game in spades, which, hey, if this game is close at all, you always got to favor Volvo in close games, because usually close games come down to, the game of inches there, making the right decisions, maybe getting a ninja cap. That's where Volvo is going to excel. King Yo hitting a crazy nade, Scotty going on like a 5K car clip, Toki just being a brick wall. These are the kinds of things that in close games pay the most dividends. I just think Band of Morons, it's tough to pick against them ever. They are just such a well-constructed team here. And yeah, they had a tough start to the season, and really that's it. You remove that game, and I think you can probably call them the best team in Silver right now. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, I'm going with Band of Morons for the time being. Next up, you got Revived, the new version of Expired here, versus GVMH. For GVMH, Raleigh, No Name, and Hooli, the big 3. Then we've had Aki, Pijisku, and Sango generally being the other 3. On the Revive side, you got MP, Super, SQ, Fincher, Manga, and Anna. I almost called her Anna again, like I always do. This is an interesting one, man. I think Revived, like, you look at the team and you would not expect to see them here, right? Similar to Over. Like, they're a team just stacked to the tits with talent here. I don't know. Hey, you got the for sure, Raleigh, No Name, and Hooli are all going to have like 70 kills. That's happening. And on a map like this, they can do their thing all around each other. They can be moving back and forth really easily. Hooli's going to go like 2-1 in the sniper areas of this map and be a lot for Javi to handle. But Javi is very underrated as a sniper too. He's got his hands full this week getting to make his sniper debut for this team, but he's certainly capable of being the first guy to solve the Hooli puzzle. The SQ, Anna, Manga, Rifle Trio going up against Raleigh, No Name, and Sango is a fun matchup as well. I'll be curious to know who's going double cap. I think No Name has generally gone the long side, at least whenever I've seen him play on Solitude, so I'm guessing Raleigh goes to the double cap. So you probably end up with like Sango, Raleigh, and maybe Aki. I feel like Aki might make sense as the other double cap. Well, both sides of a double cap. The Grassy Knoll side, and then No Name, Hooli, and Pijisku on the Church side. Versus, I don't know. I don't know who Revived is going to send as the car double cap. I'm not sure if Anna prefers long or grassy. SQ, wherever you put SQ, he's gonna get his. And then obviously the Fincher super heavy team has been insane this season. Like, they're definitely right there in the mix for the best heavy team in Silver. I don't know, man. Like, both these teams, I feel like, deserve more credit than their records are giving them right now. As I said, GVMH, that first game of the season, losing to Best Buds, like, they had 2 lag outs in the back half of that game. They could easily have ended up winning that game with just a little bit less bad luck. Both teams, I think, are a lot better than their records show. And, I don't know here. I feel like it would be just crazy to say this, but I feel like we're going to get an overtime game here. This game feels like an overtime game waiting to happen. We've seen one Solitude overtime game, Clinic versus Over, but I've played in a double overtime Solitude game in the past. It's a map that definitely lends itself to there being overtime. Maybe not as much on this version because of 2 double caps. Maybe it's a little bit less likely to get overtime. It was more likely when you had 1 double cap and it was like, we held it for 8 minutes, they held it for 8 minutes, and that was just it. So maybe that's like a little bit further out of the question on this version than it had been on B2, but this game just feels really fucking even to me. I'm going to, in the end, I don't know, man. I mean, like, I think for craziness in the standings, the most crazy way for this to happen would be for Revive to win. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Cooley and No Name and Raleigh, like, they just always dig deep when this team gets in trouble and they find a way to pull them back in, though. I don't know. There's a lot to see out of Revive this week with the changes that got made. I think this will be very telling for what you can expect out of them going forward. I'm gonna go with shit, man. I don't know. I'm gonna go with GVMH here, but again, this is like, I have no idea in this game. Gun to my head, I don't fucking know. And I really do think we could see overtime here. It's very, very possible. I seriously have to pee right now. Like I actually need to get up and go pee or I'm gonna explode. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm running so behind schedule, I had to like pack a little bit in the process of that too. All right. Fuck me, man. All right. I should have started doing this a little earlier, but I thought I had my timing down. I guess not so much as we're pushing the 2-hour mark here. Where were we? Clinic. Wait, what? No, wrong one. Okay, Clinic versus Emo Frag Squad. All right, a tough fucking draw for Emo Frag Squad here. On the Emo Frag Squad side, you know you're going to have Steve, Matt, J-Rod, Ian, Saf, and Apple. I don't think Ricky will ever play, but certainly Decaf is available. Grant, I haven't seen in a minute. But hey, you get Grant back in the mix. That could always be fun, too. On the Clinic side, they have this very big lineup here, but last week you had Tom, Candyman, Vic, Alan, Scott, and I would guess Debo. The thing is, you really don't know, like, if they have Tom, Sam, Insam, Vic, Debo, Scott, or you could see Walter in anywhere or Allen anywhere. You know, they're obviously favored here. Emo Frag Squad has been really up and down throughout the season. I think they're kind of trying to figure out what the best configuration is class-wise, and I think you're going to see another configuration change for them this week. I believe you're going to see Steve sniping and Ian on the rifle, certainly. Oh, and Sapphire on a heavy. You know, it's really they're trying to put the puzzle pieces together here, right? They got the players to be able to win. It's just a matter of finding the right setup with all of them in the best spots, map to map, class to class, matchup to matchup. And, we've seen what they look like at their peak in that rail yard game where they were just fucking cruising. I had really high hopes for them after that, the way they looked on rail yard for the second half of that game. And then they kind of come back down to earth. Last week against GVMH, they have a really strong Axis side, losing by like 20 points or whatever. But then it kind of falls apart on the Allied side. So there's a lot of questions still to answer for Emo Frag Squad here, but they are capable of doing it. So much talent and experience on this team. Just a matter of getting, the intricacies of team play down a little bit better. I think you definitely want, to me, I'm like, you should always keep J-Rod and Matt on opposite sides of the map. Tox is trying to invite me to a fucking CS game right now. That ain't happening. I ain't close enough to done yet. You want to keep those two guys spread out, I feel like, as the two best players there on the team. You don't want to overload one side. It's certainly, I guess, always an option, but I personally wouldn't do that. They've scrimmed this week a couple times. I think I'm very interested. Ian looked pretty good on the rifle in the one scrim that I saw in Solitude. Steve is obviously a natural sniper. That could be a really good answer. And then Sapphire on the heavy with Matt now too. J-Rod rifling, carring full time. You got to take Clinic here. Clinic is just one of the best teams, period. That they lost last week, again, missing a couple guys there. So you can't put a lot of emphasis on that loss. I think they are still, when all is said and done, going to be there as one of the teams in the semifinals. But yeah, for me, with Emo Frag Squad, it's just got to be a matter of taking whatever victories you can in each individual half of each individual map at this point, and then putting it together, piecing together the full game, piecing together the big win, piecing together the close win, and getting yourselves ready for a playoff run. They certainly have the pieces to be able to compete with anybody. They got to be able to do it as a unit. It goes to show that it's not always just about the sum of the parts, right? You need to be greater than the sum of your parts here. And there are a lot of little things that come into play to make a team greater than the sum of their parts. And the more that teams play together, the more that happens. And I still think that Emo Frag Squad will be a dangerous team come playoff time. And if they can put up a close game with Clinic this week, that alone would feel like a victory, in my opinion. Clinic, a team who has won Solitude games in gold, just trying out new setups with this lineup until they find one that feels most natural and has the most wide range of coverage throughout a map, and the best mobility without, sacrificing control. And trying to piece it together, because there's, we're halfway through the season. There's plenty of time left, right? And when all is said and done, the regular season is just the regular season. But for this week, it's, you definitely take Clinic here. I generally pick Clinic all the time because I love Clinic, as we all know. All right, that does it for Silver. On to the gold side of things. So we play against Icy Hot. Our lineup will be Tox, me, Jules, Brian, Ryan, and John Gale. Still no Hudson, and I'm sure if anyone's missing, although, yeah, I guess maybe not. I was going to say J-Rod could play, but they'd probably be playing at the same time as us, so I don't know. Hopefully, if we are missing somebody, like Hudson is there, or Ace, or Brad, or Dan. For Icy Hot, Jesse, William, Sean, Justin, Ben, and Chi. If they're missing anyone, T probably gets in there. I think Mitch will be back around playoff time and be available. Casey, I don't think is super available. We have played this match once before. There it is right there on the old Solitude. Right there, 121-73 we won, but that was obviously a different version of the map, and B, different lineups. At this point in time, what was our lineup? We had, who do we have? Tox, me, J-Rod, Jules, Brian, and Ryan. I think. I'm pretty sure. We might have had Tony playing that week, actually. Yes, we had Tony playing that week. We did not have Ryan playing yet. So we did still have Tony, because Ryan's first game coming back was here against PMC on Lennon. So it was, again, different team. And then obviously for Icy Out, it was very different. Their lineup on that version of the team was Modgers, Jesse, Mitch, Casey, William, and Austin. That was their 6 there. Oh, Jackson was on that lineup. That's fucking random. Jackson was an Icy Out player, technically. There you go. That's so random. I did not remember that. But yeah, good luck, have fun to Icy Out. As I said, we have played each other on Solitude in the past. This one is a little bit different. This is our rematch from the Lennon game earlier this season, which is really close. I'm sure this game will be super fucking close again. And I'm sure I'll be emo after it, whether we win or lose, because that's been the story of this season for me, is me being emo, win or lose, because of the way our games go. Yeah. Next up, you got, what was it? Soul versus Dice? Was that the next one? Soul versus Dice. Yes. Okay, so on the Soul side, you've seen, I think Stamp probably should be there. Brandon, Jackson, Cam, Justin, Shreddies, maybe Jordan, maybe Ryan, probably not Austin, almost definitely not Luke, although Luke has been in my Twitch chat more lately. God, what the cat hair, man, all over my freaking microphone. And then for Dice, if they're not missing anyone, obviously Kevin, Matt, Paul, Alex, Johnny, Chris. If they're missing someone, they got Ryan to pop in there, Asani, Hey Hi, all's well for those teams. When they're missing somebody, lots of fucking strong backups there. This is an interesting one on a map like Solitude, although Solitude is a lot of chaos, and this is Dice thrives in the chaos. They are one of the last teams you want to be playing in a chaotic situation on a chaotic map, to be honest. Kevin is insane on this map sniping. He finds pretty much more value than anybody else is going to find on Solitude ever. This team at the LAN playing on Solitude was just like a movie clip machine. Like casting that game, it was like, oh, and there's Kaboom with a fast 5K. There's Warchild with a fast 5K. There's Element with a fast 5K. There's Kevin with a fast 5K. And then Kevin was getting knifed over and over again by Norb, who was bullying him, which is why Norb is on Dice now, so that Kevin is not having to constantly look over his shoulder for a shovel. Soul is a scary team, right? Like, these guys can play Dark Horse to absolutely anybody. Like, you cannot come out and just go, well, it's not G-Skill or Icy Hot or Dice, and so, like, we don't have to be as prepared for it. This team is scary, and they showed that against us on Railyard. We were getting pretty well handled on Railyard against them for, I don't even know how much to start. A while. I can tell you that. It was a while. They have a lot of fucking talent on this team and a lot of versatility. They can play whatever style of game you want to bring to the table. They can frag with anybody. Obviously when you got Justin and Craig, two of the most ridiculous rifles in the game, period. Brandon and Jared, Cam on the sniper, Shreddies on the third. Like, there's just a lot of talent on that team. I think Dice gets back on the winning track this week. They really just had one bad day where they were missing a guy, right? Like, you can't put too much stock into the way that 1-2 hour span went. You play those 2 hours out again 100 times. That's going to be one of the only times that things go the way that they did in that day. To me, those games mean really nothing in the grand scheme of things. Dice is still Dice and still one of the 3 favorites to win this division, period. But definitely cannot go into this game unprepared, because Soul will be well prepared. They are very, very committed in gold here to trying to play spoiler to absolutely every team humanly possible here and try to take this thing on a deep playoff run. And they've got the guys to do it. period. Like, period. There is no qualifier beyond that. This team can beat anybody. And on a map like Solitude, that's the kind of place you see it happen a lot of times. This map can very easily be an upset game. I don't know. Again, with Dice, it's possible they're going to be missing someone. I have no idea what if Chris was just gone kind of unexpectedly that day or what's going on there. But, I'm assuming they're going to have their 6 back for this. And, you got to take Dice here, say like 35, 40 points. But on a map like Solitude, it's wild and crazy, man. I think that'll be a very fun back and forth game. It's just Dice is still Dice, They got a really, really fun and strong, well-constructed beast of a team here. And individually, all their players are really fucking good at this map. Like, Paul has had some of the most ridiculous Solitude moments we've seen in KTP as well. Matt, Die Life, is like one of the guys I learned how to go double cap from years and years ago. Go watch Die Life 3. He's got like 15 clips going double cap on that map. And Kevin, Alex, these guys are insane. Chris, Johnny. I'm just going to name all the players now because I don't want anyone to feel like I left them out on purpose. All right. But yeah, I go with Dice here in a close one. I'd say like if I'm giving odds like 70%, Not 100 or anything like that, but to me, Dice is still one of the absolute favorites, period. And what happened in their doubleheader last week doesn't really mean that much to me. Like, I think that's you can pretty much just throw those results out because I don't think that that's likely to happen very many times ever. Last but not least, what I would call the match of the week, even if right now in the standings it doesn't look like it, G-Skill versus Over on Solitude. They played each other on Lennon in a very close game earlier this season, and Solitude, another fast-paced, frag-happy, balls-to-the-wall kind of map, is a good thing for Over. These are the kind of maps that they will generally thrive on. Lennon, Harrington, Solitude, they also like living in the chaos, for better or for worse. They make it chaotic when it doesn't even have to be sometimes, again, for better or for worse. For G-Skill, if they have their 6, which I don't know if they will, Taylor, Milo, Andrew, Chuck, Frank, Colin, but if they're missing anybody, they've got 3 of the best fucking backups you could possibly have in Scott, Savage, and Linus. On the Overside, Kum, Devin, Caffrey, Saka, SC, Nightmare. You got Nick always there if Nightmare isn't around, or if they can't get other people and Nick snipes and Nightmare plays a different class. I think Nick could play any other class too. Mata's always there. Jiz is always there. And then Colin, who, again, I would love to see a game where Over's got Colin in the mix, just to see if that little bit of a more methodical play style getting brought into the mix could be, super helpful for Over as a team. I'm never going to pick against G-Skill, and I won't be, ever. Not today, not next week, not in 6 weeks in the finals, when they're inevitably there, whoever they're playing against. I won't be picking against them. I think this is going to be a close game, though. Like, again, styles make fights, right? And to me, on the right maps, Over is maybe like the best opponent to go up against G-Skill, living in this just raw chaos on a crazy map where most of the game is just coming down to like winning a crazy ass gunfight at long range with a heavy, whatever, like just crazy shit like that. This is kind of one of those instances here where I think the chaos is helpful for Over. You still take G-Skill for sure. I'll be curious what the lineups are for both teams, who can be there, who can't be there, because that obviously makes a big difference too. If Over's missing like 3 guys, then maybe it's a different story. But yeah, I go with G-Skill, but I think this is going to be a fun game. Again, don't be fooled by the standings. This is the match of the week here. Icy Hot Thunder is right there too, I guess. This is the match of the week of the games that I can cast. But like 4-1, 0-5. But remember that Over has given G-Skill the closest game of their season, realistically, right? Like, I'm pretty sure. Where's the gold schedule here? I mean, I guess we did, they basically had a win by last minute cap out there against us. Oh, and they lost. Okay, so, but a 7-point win against Over on Lennon there. Very, very close game. Similar style of map here, so I expect this game to be a crazy one. I guess it was, I mean, technically the closest game still, though, because this is an 8-point game against Iciot. This was a 7-point game. This was 27. So, hey, I wasn't wrong when I said that was the closest game of G-Skill's season. I knew it. I never doubted myself for a second. Okay. Yeah. Wow, I am running so far behind. Holy fuck. I got like fucking 10 minutes to pack now or something. All right, so again, reminder, submit to the frag of the week, or I will stick your balls up your ass. And in this case, you submit to Kaboom. War Within not doing the frag of the week this week. Chris is doing it, which will be awesome to see Chris doing a frag of the week for the first time in a while. I couldn't tell you the last time he did a frag of the week, to be honest. Probably in the 2010s. He did like the draft frag of the week in 2020 or whatever, but that's not really a frag of the week. So yeah, big, nice break for War Within here. He's been working just way too hard, getting these things done week in and week out. And yeah, I will probably, I will get to cast the 2 HLTVs that I got from last week when I'm back in Buffalo for sure. I don't know what day and time exactly, but they will get done. And yeah, looks like Sunday we'll have a pretty decently packed schedule. 4 o'clock game, definitely. Probably another afternoon game here as well. A 10 o'clock game. We play at 9, and then whatever HLTV recordings we get as well. So I will see you guys later after I drive until I fall asleep. Mwah. Peace out, KTP.